How we doing, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Wolf, and welcome back to a series I never expected to do. This is going to be episode 3 of my crafting series in Path of Exile. And now I'm going to do a quick little 2 to 3 minute preamble. We'll say 3 minutes. So if you just want to see the crafting guide, skip ahead to the 3-minute mark, and I will start there. For everyone else, I'm going to do a quick little update about why I'm bringing this series back, and something you're going to be seeing sort of going forward. Let me adjust my hair there very quickly. I essentially have gone through a lot of thoughts regarding the YouTube channel and YouTube content in the past few days. And essentially, I'm going to be doing a bit of an experiment, which is reviving series that did really well on the channel. And now, that being said, I am doing PoE content at the moment, obviously, right? I have PoE open, but don't expect me to be playing Path of Exile all that actively. What I want to try and do is utilize my knowledge in a way that I can teach PoE still, because of course I do have 2,000 hours played, and a lot more hours outside the game understanding concepts and that sort of stuff, allowing me to teach Path of Exile to people. I want to still use all of that information and skill, I suppose, and teach it to you guys. I want to double down on the sort of guides and teaching concepts, but I also want to start making content that you guys actually want and stuff that actually does well. During my little look through the past couple of days, where I sort of tried to figure out what was going wrong with the channel, basically, I realized I was trying to do a lot of things that I wanted to do rather than finding something that worked and continuing doing it. I kept trying to make new things and new things and new things, or things that I thought were interesting, when I had something sort of staring me in the face that people genuinely wanted. And I'm going to be taking that sort of style and applying it to any games I play in the future, primarily World of Warcraft and maybe some extra Cyberpunk stuff, or anything I play just in general. But the crafting series for PoE is one of those series that people told me they wanted. Maybe it's a little bit too late, because of course it has been a year between episodes, but it's content that will last forever and still be aptly usable, probably a year or so into the future, depending on what changes come through. But with that being said, I just want to say quickly, check out the Patreon if you are interested in some new options, because that will be updated by the time this video comes out, with options regarding PoE, World of Warcraft, and League of Legends, because I want to do more teaching stuff, and that will be a place for me to do it, with an option for me to become your full-time Path of Exile coach. I don't expect anyone to take me up on it, but if anyone does, it'll be one hell of an experience, let's put it that way. Alright, with that being said, let's go about doing some crafting, shall we? So, I am going to be doing this series in a sort of different style than before. Now, in the first episode, I covered, what was it? I covered chess pieces, I believe. And in the second episode, I covered weaponry. And now I am going to be doing all of the outermost pieces, so helmet, gloves, boots, and then working towards the inner pieces of amulet, rings. I'm only going to do one episode for rings, and then belts. And then I'm going to do one for flasks as well. And those should all be coming out, hopefully quickly following each other, because I want to try and do pretty much all of them as fast as possible and as well as possible, to get them all out for you, so you can just kind of binge them all whenever you need them. But on that note, let me look at my stash here. I do have access to a lot of currency, thanks to all of my subscribers. Due to unforeseen circumstances, I of course lost the first batch, but I got it all from Standard League and currency that no one needed. So streamer privilege, obviously, I'll take that, but used for a good cause. Thank you very much to Marled and Evil Bunny from my Discord for this luxury. Now, what I'm going to be doing is two separate sort of styles of gearing. I'm going to be going down this sort of setup, even though I'm not going to go directly down because I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, right? But still. And I'm going to be creating 2 gear sets for 2 different types of characters. The left side is going to be a melee focused sort of build and everything I would do for that. And the right side is going to be an energy shield focused setup that is going to be a fire damage based character. This is going to be a slow, hard-hitting melee character, and I will show you the styles I use to craft on these. A lot of these will be replicatable for any other style of build. If you play an evasion character or some kind of hybrid character, what have you, you can use the same styles and concepts that I teach you. If you want an absolute basic rundown, do check the first episode of this series that goes into the absolute basics of crafting. I'm still going to give you that, but I'm going to give you a more beginner's refresher, we'll put it that way. So we are going to start off with doing helmets today, so allow me to grab the both of those. Also, there's going to be, they are probably going to be in the description, but if they aren't, there will be a few websites that I'm going to be using a little bit later on, primarily PoE DB. I sadly can't show you it due to recording limitations right now. Maybe I add it in post, we shall see. But it is a very useful tool that I would recommend if you're going to be crafting exquisite gear. I'm going to be making very beginner level stuff today, and trying my best to put together an effective gear set that will work for a starting character, and maybe, if I get lucky, a bit of a higher end character. I have also done other videos where I gear a character on a 7 or a 10 chaos budget, and that character was able to do roughly T10 maps. So it wasn't even 10 chaos, it was 7.5 chaos actually. So do go take a look at that if you are a buyer rather than a crafter. You can always do it that way as well. However, everything I'm going to teach you in this video is going to be from a solo self-found point of view, because that is where all my experience comes from. So if you want to make some insane items for Trade League, it's probably not going to be the right video for you, although I do know some of the techniques to go about doing that. Alright, with that being said, let's start off quite simply. So, you will see when you look at any items that if you hold down your Alt key, you have prefixes and you have suffixes. And now a rare item can have 3 of each. It can have 3... So I held it around my fingers. 3 prefixes and 3 suffixes. So that is the maximum amount that you can have. If you have access to a crafting bench, which this account sadly doesn't due to unforeseen circumstances, as I said before, you can craft on a suffix or a prefix. You get 1 crafted option, unless you use something called multi-mod, which does what it says on the tin, allowing you to add additional mods. I don't have that, I can't show you that, but it is an option if you want to make very high-end pieces. I will address certain items and what I would craft on them is in regards to creating certain good pieces. Now, one other thing that I want to showcase to you that is very important is that if you make an item blue, you only get 2, or well, not 2, you get 1 of each. You get 1 prefix and you get 1 suffix. Now, one other thing you can do with this is you can upgrade it to a rare item, which is the yellow one, via a regal orb. This is where a lot of the interesting stuff is going to come from. Let me show you that very quickly, and you just knock it up like so. Now, that's probably the wrong terminology to use, but whatever. Now, thing is if you regal orb something, there's a good chance you're only going to wind up with a situation like this, where you have the 2 rolls and you have 1 extra roll. So, regal orbing something is very nuanced, because what you end up getting is 3 rolls, and then you get a crafted modifier slot, which will allow you to put on anything you want, provided you have the open slot. Right, so in this case, I could put 1 prefix, or I could put 2 suffixes. Sorry. Now with crafting, you can only put 1 mod on at a time. So I could put on a prefix of a small plus life and plus armor, or I could put on a suffix resistance. Those are the sorts of options that I could do for a piece like this. But regaling is how you get some very specific options. So I'll show you the crafting methods that I use for that, but that is sort of the basic setup that I use. I take it, I start it off as blue, and then I roll it until I get exactly what I want, and then I regal it to see what else I can get, and then I craft something else on top of that. So I end up with a 4 modifier item that will roll pretty much exactly what I want. There are other ways to go about getting 6 mod items that are very, very good, but they start to require luck. This is going to be showing you both sides of the coin, the luck side and the forcible side, we'll put it that way. The luck side, of course, requires good RNG to get very, very good items, but you can force some rather basic stuff if you're in a pinch. So, in regards to helmets, one thing I'm going to recommend is if you're buying items to craft, buy them pre-enchanted. If you buy them off PoE.trade, you can go to the add mods section and just type in enchant, and it will allow you to find whatever you're looking for. So in my case, I would buy a Vol Earthquake, or not Vol Earthquake, but just an Earthquake helmet if I was to play a two-handed Earthquaker, and then I would craft that. Always keep spare helmets in your stash if you are doing Aspirant's Trial at any point, or farming any of them, because you can just pop them out of your stash and enchant them, throw them back in, and maybe you get a build out of a 40% damage helmet. Works quite well for me, back when I did play quite a lot. So this one is just random Flame Dash enchantment, but for sake of showcase, take that enchantment as Earthquake damage. Alright. So what we are going to do is I'm going to scour this fella, and I will show you sort of a few basic styles of crafting. Essentially, what you can do for the simplest way to create an item is throw an alch on it, pray, well, we hit nothing good, and then you use Chaos Orbs, and you roll it until you get something that you want. So I'll do a few rolls here. Generally, one thing I'd also recommend is set yourself a budget. So in this case, for this item, I'm going to use 5 Chaos Orbs, because I don't want to go too crazy for right now. I'll set myself a budget of 5, and then after I run out of those, if I haven't gotten anything good, I will reevaluate how I want to do it, or in some cases maybe throw the item away altogether, because I have had some that are just like, okay, well this thing's just unlucky, I guess, and so I throw it away and try and find something new. And so we are going to roll a couple of these. That rolled pretty shittily. So things we're looking for in regards to items for a melee character is a high resistance roll, as you can see, the one that'll appear right here where my mouse is. The 39% lightning resist. We're looking for something akin to that, but we want multiple of them if we can. We want a life prefix and then resistances on the suffixes. If we can get life tri-res, is what these sorts of things are called, then we're in a very, very good spot. The problem is that life tri-res is not easy to come across or easy to roll. So it's going to be a bit of a struggle, but that's what the currency restriction is for, basically. So we'll roll it again, and we'll see what else we come across. Rarity is good if you want to make a rarity character, or making a speed farming character. You can stop there if you would like to. Okay. That is something very interesting. Now, this is where things get very, very interesting, because I do believe I would stop here, because this has a open prefix. Well, you could put more life on this. If you were in a pinch and you were on a very small budget, you could stop at just this and have a nice bit of life, as well as 2 rather okay resistance rolls. What you could also do is a Divine Orb this. I don't have any because I didn't grab any, but you could use Divine Orbs to roll these sort of inner amounts. You see that the maximum life is 80 out of 89, right? That's the roll range you can get. So it can go up to 89. However, you have to use Divine Orbs for that, which gets pretty pricey if you're trying to make a perfect item. So what I could do is divine this until I hit 89 and I hit good rolls and all that sort of stuff. Or I could just keep rolling it if you wanted to. A piece like this actually opens up a lot of options and a couple of ideas, because, well, what if we want to make like a melee zombies character or something, right? It's stupid ideas like that. Or what if you're playing a Dancing Dervish build, although I don't know if Dancing Dervish would be affected by this, but those sorts of concepts, you know, it starts to bring that creative spark. That's what weird items do for us. But in this case, if it were to be an earthquake piece and I was on an absolute budget of 5 chaos, all in all, I'd say not too bad. What you could do from here is you can use the crafting bench and craft prefix life if you wanted to. I'm sure you could probably find a couple other interesting prefix crafts as well. You could get prefix life and armor, and you'd be looking at about 100 flat life, depending how many modifiers you have. That could scale up to be even better. Alternatively, you could use an annulment orb and pray to take off that suffix global accuracy rating. And if you get rid of that with an annulment orb, you can then suffix craft a third resistance. And in that case, you're doing very, very well for yourself. You could alternatively annul it, try and get the light radius thing off, then craft on a suffix, and then exalt it if you want and try and hit life on the prefix. But that I think is a waste, but you could do it for showcase sake, I guess, or to just swag on people if you really want to. So for that style of Chaos Orb crafting, all in all, not too bad. That's the sort of thing you can look for quite simply. But thing is like, keep in mind, these are randomizing 6 rolls at a time. So if you get a good item while chaos spamming, fucking stop. Because the chances you get more within... The chances I get something this good within another 5 chaos is exceptionally low. Exceptionally low. So I would not go about doing what I'm going to do. But, of course, for showcase sake, I'm going to scour that. And we are going to start again with the alterations, and I'll show you the alternative method that I use to get the best item that I can possibly get to fill very specific niche requirements. So we're going to start by making it blue, and then from this point I'm going to hold shift, right click my orbs of alteration, and left click the item. Now this will make it so I hold the thing in my hand, and we can just keep spam clicking on this, and we can get something like this. Now, this isn't the best sort of thing, but it's a nice showcase of what I'm looking for. I want high life and high resistance. In this case, if I was really on a pinch, really in a pinch, then I would regal this if I needed cold resistance exactly, and we would be in a good spot here. So what I could do is just regal this, pray I hit something good, not too great, but I could now craft a high resistance on this, right? So what I end up with is a life resistance and a crafted resistance. So yes, it's not a godly piece by any means, but if you're starting off in solo self-found and you're really up shit creek and you have a decent amount of alterations from leveling and you hit a regal orb somewhere just off of a league mechanic or something like that, you're not doomed, basically. So as a result, you can start to create something that's kind of okay. Regaling is not going to get you the best items unless you have access to multi-modding or some very stupid options, but you can force exactly what you want. I'll go back and do one more for you here. Also, if you get an option like this, where you just have one modifier, you can use an augment orb to add something else on it. What this means is you can hunt for one specific mod. In this case, if this was 40% lightning res, I could just augment it, and there's maximum life, right? Things like this, yes, of course, it requires you getting lucky, but that's life resistance, right? If that resistance number was higher and the life number was higher, well, then we throw on a regal orb, and if we hit resistance here, well then, if we hit resistance with the regal, we're in an exceptionally good spot, because now we have a life and 2 resistance helmet, right? You see what I'm kind of starting to get at. So in that case, we can start to make some very, very fancy stuff with that sort of style. That's what we're going to be looking for the melee side of helmets, basically, is just life and resistances. So in this case, I would just regal it and then craft on it. Let's see if we can't get something a little snazzier, shall we? See what we can wind up with here with our little crafting scenario. 41% fire res, nice. 19 cold. I could augment that and see what we get. Nothing of note. Life regen, fire res. Nope. I probably should have stopped earlier because, like I said, I got something good. So now it's only going to be downhill from here. Low life and resistance. Strength armor. You can see how this starts to get pricey. So I would set myself a maximum amount, grab like a stack of alts, and just go from there, right? See if you hit anything interesting. Rarity, nope. Intelligence, nope, nope, nope. Ooh, good life. Now, if I was luckier, that'd be good life and no suffix, but no dice there, sadly. Oh, tier 1 life. Resistances. Damn. Oh, worth a try. Worth a fucking try. So in this case, you could regal this, right? And you hit the rest of the item being trash. But you see what I mean by RNG is a factor, of course, but you can force something that you want through this style. If you get very lucky, you can force 2 stats of what you want. So in my case, you could have a 99 life, resistance, and then craft on resistance. And then you have 2 res, max life, and yeah, you're in a very good spot for a for a 4 roll item. From there, you can exalt it if you want to, and I believe there's other ways to add things on through league mechanics. I don't entirely remember right now. Mind is a little bit cloudy. But I'm going to use that as my showcase piece for melee, and I shall put that back into there. Now, what if I was to go about making an energy shield piece? Also, this same style can be used for evasion rating pieces. You just replace the max life with evasion rating, and then evasion rating max life, and prefix max life. And you get triple resistances on the bottom, if possible. I'd make an evasion piece with chaos spamming more so than I would with this style, personally. I don't play evasion rating characters, so I don't know much in regards to that. Right, so what if I was to go about making myself an energy shield piece? Oh, well, the first thing that you want to do, that I actually can't do, because I don't have any blacksmith whetstones, or sorry, armor scraps, is you would want to quality this piece as high as possible, because the base energy shield on an item goes up exponentially via quality modifiers and %ES modifiers, as well as plus energy shield. So what we're going to be looking for is kind of like the max health scenario, kind of like the previous piece, but we want plus ES, % max ES, and then another % ES and armor in some cases, or plus max ES and armor, or whatever have you. Those are the sorts of prefixes we're going to be looking for primarily, because they will make our piece a whole lot better. Now, I don't have any armor scraps in my current scenario. If I did, I would use them to up my energy shield, but imagine I do, right? And so this would be about, I'd say, 50 energy shield. So we can go about doing this the style I showed before, of alching it and fucking praying. And let's see what we wind up with. There's the plus max ES and mana. I got tier 1 on that, that's not bad. Tier 1 rarity, okay. And there's a good resistance roll. So we're looking for the resistance roll, as well as the maximum energy shield we see on the top there, but we want a better roll than that. So we're gonna roll this again and see what we wind up with. Plus max ES, that's just a raw roll that rolled horribly. Life, rarity, tri-res, and mana. Oh. Imagine if I got that on the helmet. Someone somewhere would be fucking screaming. Right, I'll set myself another few chaos budget, because I do need to use these for other pieces, obviously, for other videos. But we will continue on with that. Maximum energy shield. This is the sort of combination we're looking for, right? The plus maximum energy shield and the % increased energy shield you can see on the top there. That's the sort of combo we are looking for. Let's see if we can get something a little snazzier. Nope. And we're close. Right. So this is the other sort of modifier we're looking for, the % increased energy shield that is very, very high. This is tier 4. If I can combine that with the plus max, then we're really in a good shape. Now, the reason I said to do this in this style, where you just chaos spam the fuck out of it and then craft on it afterwards, is because you'll see that we want to get a lot of prefix modifiers, and energy shield gear is a lot better when it has 6 mods, as well as 3 prefixes primarily. Reason being is we want, like I said, 3 energy shield modifiers, whereas for a melee piece, we're looking for 1 prefix, right? We want health. You know, you want health, and then you can craft on any extra health if you get the option. You want big life and resistances at the bottom, right? Whereas the energy shield chest piece, or energy shield helmet, wants 3 prefixes and then 3 resistances, right? So it's going to require a lot more work if you go the regaling route, and the chances of getting anything good with the regaling route is very, very low. There are going to be some other things that I'll show you in just a second that you can use for getting better ES stuff. But in this case, if you're in a pinch, you could take something like this, and you could craft plus maximum energy shield, just a flat number on here, and they add up exponentially to create a very high energy shield number. So you could do that if you're really, really screwed. But we'll use a few more chaos for showcase and see what we can hit here. No dice there. Not there. Nope. That has an open prefix, so you could go for plus max ES here as well if you need to. And we'll take a look at the last roll. And no dice on anything too great. I'm trying to make sure I don't burn through too much chaos, because of course I do have a bunch of other pieces to do for the showcase video, right? So it's going to get a little pricey eventually, but still. So we'll clean that fella off, and let's take a look at trying to do it the previous way. So we're going to look for a maximum ES, or percent ES, and look for a very, very high roll. We don't give a shit about resistances in this case. With energy shield builds, primarily what you can do is use most of your main pieces, your helmet, chest piece, gloves, and boots, for as high of ES as possible, and then use your rings and amulet to solve the resistance problems. That's what I normally do when I play an energy shield character. So let's see if we can come across anything nice. Suffix, and that's trash. Resistance, augment it. If I can click the fucking thing. Alright, there's a small modifier. That's not bad. It's not spectacular, but this could be something. Now, keep in mind, this sort of setup actually isn't too bad, because if we regal this, we can craft on plus max ES. If we hit percentage ES, then we're really in business. Percentage ES with the regal, that is. Alright, no luck. Nope. Very low roll, sadly. That's a prefix. If I can get a nice resistance roll, okay, that wouldn't be too bad for a regal, because we can force craft very high plus max ES, like I said. So we'll regal it, see what we get. And plus max ES, but very low. So I guess this is a showcase piece. Just if the rolls were better, because that's tier 7. So this is actually perfect if that was tier like 2 or 3. This is the ideal piece that you'd want to be crafting through this style, because what you would essentially have is, if that was tier 2 or tier 3 max energy shield, you would have a very good piece on your hands, because what you could do is craft percentage maximum energy shield at a high level, if possible, as high as you could go, and you could wind up with something that's like plus 70 max ES, and then like 70 or 80% max ES, and those all compound plus the quality modifier, and you can wind up with energy shield helmets that get to around 200 to 400 ES, depending how high the rolls are and how good of a day you're having. What you can also do is multi-mod, because you can, you can get a suffix craft that gives percent quality. Now, I said before, quality gives you energy shield on the little base area, the area up here, right? That'll increase the energy shield up there. So you can do a multi-mod for suffix quality, prefix percent ES, upgrade the quality to as high as possible, and then you can use the betrayal bench, one of the betrayal options that increases the quality on armor, to put this helmet in it to up it to 30% quality, I think it is. And then you're starting to look at a really good energy shield piece. Those are the ways that people go about getting these insane ES pieces that get, you know, upwards of 200 to 400 on off pieces, doing things like that and min-maxing as much as possible. It's not impossible, it just takes a bit of work and a little bit of luck to put a good piece together. Because like I said, you need to get the betrayal bench and all that sort of stuff, so it takes some work, but you can make yourself some very, very good ES pieces. Now, this is the simplest way to go about crafting, but I am going to show you another. I have to log over to my heist character to find all the stuff, but there are a few other styles of crafting that I'm going to explain to you and show to you, explain to you rather than show to you, because I don't have too many pieces to craft and work with. So, what you can do is you have access to things which are things called essences, basically, which these will force a roll and create a guaranteed rare item for you. Most of these have a level requirement, but these are going to force a guaranteed roll that is generally unique. So in this case, two-handed weapons, minions deal 95 to 100% increased damage. You're playing a minion build and you want to put this on a staff or something, well, go ape shit, right? So that allows you to create a minion staff. You can put this on other pieces and it will give you different modifiers. In regards to this thing specifically, my minions would get increased maximum life if I put this on a helmet. That is a way to force some unique stuff, but it also gives you a free rare, basically, or a free chaos orb with a forced roll. The other 5 rolls you'll get will be randomized, so you could get something good, you could get something dog shit. But what you will get is this one guaranteed roll. So if you wind up with some of the better ones, like in this case, you get guaranteed cold resistance. Rest of the item rolls randomly. Maybe you hit life and a couple other reses, and you have a very good piece with a bit of RNG involved, obviously, but you can force certain rolls through essences. Alternatively, you can use fossils. Now, what fossils will allow you to do is force a specific set of stuff. So, in this case, we can get more physical modifiers. Physical modifiers mean things such as life, or if you're looking at a weapon, you can get, you can get flat physical damage, percentage physical damage, that sort of stuff. But physical on a helmet, I do believe, will give you armor more than anything. I think life counts as a physical modifier as well, but it will mostly give you armor stuff primarily. You're going to want to look for more defense. More defense is very good for energy shield stuff, because more defense counts as ES. So dense fossils are exceptionally good for crafting energy shield gear, and it's some of the ways that people get really stupid rolls, the ones I was telling you about crafting through Regal stuff, and they can get 6 item ES gear through dense fossils quite easily. My recommendation for how to roll these, by the way, is to just use them one by one. People do all these fancy rolls with fucking, like, you know, they put in a dense fossil, a bound fossil, they put in 4 fossils at a time and get some, like, mixed trash bag. It's not worth it at all, in my experience. All I've done for items that are, like, exceptionally top tier is just one fossil. One fossil, roll it, and see what you get. And I've gotten some stupid items off one fossil rolls. Maybe that's me specifically, but that's my recommendation for crafting these sorts of pieces. Is do yourself one fossil roll. So if I were to do ES stuff, I would just put a dense fossil into one of these fellas, reforge, and just roll it until I get something good. Most often than not, it'll take me about 1 to 2 fossils to get a average to good piece, generally. So that is my recommendation. Buy them on the on PoE.trade, or find how to farm them and make a character specific to farming them, or farm them on your main if you want to do that route as well. And you can start to get some fancy stuff. I don't have any life ones, I don't think, but if you want to make a chess piece, I would recommend rolling just life on it, the life fossils, and seeing what you get. You can get some very, very stupid, unique modifiers. This is where PoE DB comes in. Sadly, I can't show you due to recording restrictions at the moment, but things you can get with a life fossil, for example, is percentage increased maximum life. And I mean like 10% increased maximum life. Stack that with plus 100 life and plus 15 life and armor in the prefixes category, you're looking at a pretty beefy chess piece. If you have specific influenced gear, you can start to get very fancy. You can use a life fossil on an elder influenced chess piece. I know we're starting to get a little fancy, but we're later into the video and I'm going to probably call it quite soon. But you can use a life fossil on an elder influenced chess piece and you can get recover % life on kill. This is stupid busted, and if you ever get the opportunity to get a chess piece like that, I would, because you'll be immortal, provided you're doing maps at an average pace. I had a character that I was delving on, and I rolled an Elder Astral Plate that had life, % life on kill, % max life, tri-res, and I fucking screamed when I hit it. That sort of item will last you a whole league forever on every single character that you get or play at any point. So those sorts of things are kind of why I really enjoy this crafting system, is hitting stupid shit like that. And those are the styles I would go about if you were to look for a very good helmet or chest piece. If you want some influence stuff, PoE DB is going to be your best option to find that, because I can't tell you every single thing off the top of my head. But for helmets, I primarily just go for life, resistances. That's it, really. If you want to get deeper into it, look through some of the other modifiers and look at how to get them. It's normally going to be a combination of influence plus fossil. That's it, really. That's going to be generally how you go about getting some of this fancy stuff. Or it might be some stuff on essences, like Essence of Insanity, for example. You can get some stupid shit, like body armors gain onslaught for 3 seconds when hit, right? You see what I mean here? Helmet, socketed gems gain 50% of physical damage as extra lightning damage. And if you use that and you get a good roll with it, you're keeping that build, or you're keeping that helmet for the rest of the league, right? So that's the solo self-found point of view. In Trade League, you can buy a shit ton of these and just roll until you hit something adequate. And the damage bonus you'd get from socketed gems get bonus damage. It's really damn good, depending on what you're using. If you're using, what is it? I was going to say like a Bringer of Rain, then I realized a Bringer of Rain's a unique helmet, and you can't roll that. So ignore that sort of idea, but you get what I'm kind of referencing here, right? Increased movement speed during any flask effect for belts. This is really insane if you're playing like a Pathfinder or just a speed character in general. So look through some of these enhanced modifiers and see what you can come up with or what interests you. But that is going to bring us to the end of this crafting video. Also, I didn't cover sockets because you can go out and roll it yourself, or just buy a fucking 6-link, well, helmets 4-link, but you know what I mean. Sockets and whatnot, I don't really feel like covering because just roll it forehead. But yeah, that is going to be the helmets episode of the crafting series. That is episode 3 done and dusted. I hope you join me in episode 4. I am just making sure I'm on track here. Join me in episode 4 where I cover gloves. That is going to be the next piece, and I shall see you until then. Imagine what it's like if you think before you fucking speak. I shall see you in the next one. Take care, gentlemen.